The Gospel about sheep and goats. Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Our topic today is not a formal book in the Bible, but it sure speaks loudly to us like a gospel message. We're going to explore this exciting teaching that Jesus left with us. The reality of the concept of gospel is that it brings good news and it demands your response. So get ready to respond. Jesus spoke a lot about the future. In Matthew 25, we hear him talking about the time when the Son of Man, which is himself, will come into his glory with all the angels and he will be seated on a golden throne. You don't want to miss this spectacular event. Well, you won't miss it because all of us will be there. But here's the beginning of a cool event. Jesus will divvy up the crowd into two squads, the sheep squad and the goats squad. Just imagine the atmosphere. Some folks will be surprised that their friends might be on the opposite side, but hold that thought. Jesus will then turn to the sheep, the gentler animals, and he is going to invite them to collect their inheritance that he has for them. What? Why are they getting inheritance? It sounds like an awards ceremony, don't you think? For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invited you in, or needed clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these my brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Matthew 25, verses 35 to 40. Well, what about me? That's what you would be saying if you are on the other side. You would be thinking, I did some kindness too. I should be on the side with the sheep. Unfortunately, there won't be any defense attorney there to plead your case. Do you want to hear what these sheep will receive? Eternal life. Yes, my friend, there is no greater reward than to be given the honor of spending eternity with God in a beautiful place called heaven. Well, what about the other group that will be standing with bated breath, expecting to be treated equally? You can guess the narrative because the guys on the other side are the people who were not interested in feeding the poor and the downtrodden. They did not care one bit for folks who were homeless. They were mean to the person who came up to them begging for food. They were more concerned with amassing wealth at the expense of looking out for their brothers. Think of those employers who underpay their staff, refuse to improve their conditions at the workplace. They will include those big shots who saw to it that some people were sent to horrible prisons for petty crimes and for long sentences. They're the ones who did the photo shoot of giving to the poor, but the goods did not come from their pockets. Sure enough, there will be an abundance of defense attorneys who will reply on behalf of the goats, while some will speak up for themselves. They also will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you? He will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. Then they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. Matthew 25, verses 44 to 46. Sounds like fiction, doesn't it? But if you think so, then you have completely missed the great lesson that Jesus is teaching to us today. You clearly are missing what he said to the sheep. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of those brothers of mine or sisters of mine, you did for me. Matthew 25 and verse 40. But why is it so strongly emphasized in this message? Jesus elevated kindness to the level of the second greatest commandment. Remember the Ten Commandments? Well, this is how Jesus summarized it. One day, Jesus was in Jerusalem, and like they often do, a group of Pharisees tried to trap him with a religious question. One of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question: Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it: love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. Matthew 22:34-40. In other words, Jesus took the first four commandments and summarized them in loving God totally. He then rolled the other six commandments and summarized them with the famous second commandment: love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus demands of us to love our neighbors like we love ourselves. As Christians, we cannot just claim to love God and not show love to others, and not just our family or our church friends. Love your neighbor extends to showing kindness to people who don't know, like the good shepherd Samaritan, who will not be able to repay you. Loving your neighbor means showing kindness to the stranger and respect to a human being who is down on his luck today, but your help could go a long way to restore hope for a bright future or even help to keep them alive. Not all beggars are drug addicts and alcoholics. Not every person you pass on the street is panhandling for erroneous reasons. You and I are being challenged by God today to go a step further and show kindness to those who cannot repay us. That was what makes the Good Samaritan a hero. He helped a man who was a stranger and who could not repay him. Let's end where we started. We're talking about the gospel of the sheep and the goat, and it demands that you begin today to be kind one to another, and not just to those who can repay you, but more importantly, to those who cannot repay you. Become a sheep today and always show kindness to others.